Up, I think we are good to go. I think we are. Yeah, 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 yeah. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and in this video, we are talking the 47th, I believe, episode of the Stream Live podcast, where we're going to be talking about the best fights with Superman, the best Superman fights. Now, when I say the best Superman fights, I'm going to try to cover all media, but I haven't read all the comics. I don't know every single fight that's been in there. Hell, I don't even know like a 2% of the fights in there because I know he's fought Darkseid, Doomsday, Wonder Woman, Batman, all throughout the comics. I haven't really followed the comics like that, so you'll see this has more to do with the film series, the film movies, and the television shows. But there will be some. The game, there will be some from the comics too, I think. But having said that, I guess let's just go ahead and get into this. Now, I am a big fan of Superman. I think he's awesome. I don't think he's overpowered like everybody says he is, because there are a lot of people out there that can kick his ass and that have kicked his ass. So let's go ahead and just talk about one of my absolute favorite fights of is I was reading one of the comics, graphic novels. It was called Superman, American Alien, and in it, it was basically detailing his life at different points of his life, with him learning how to control his abilities and accepting, growing to that next stage of being a regular citizen to being a superhero, and how he evolved throughout his life, and learning about the choices of doing good and not to kill and stuff like that, and his responsibility with his abilities. And one of the best, because it was like six stories, 6 or 7 stories, and each one was like a different story. It was a different author, but it was all fit into one narrative. And one of them is after he's kind of established himself as Superman, when Lobo comes to Earth, and I've liked Lobo. I've followed the Lobo more in the Justice League and the Superman animated series than I have in the comics or anything like that. But this incarnation of Lobo in this comic was pretty damn brutal, and he was straight up like anybody can get it. And him and Superman got into this fight. Now I think this is one of the most significant fights that the character Superman had fought in that time. In the story before that, he was fighting, I think, Paris. He fought Parasite, but it was nowhere like as brutal as this fight he had with Lobo. I mean, when I say it was straight up brutal, it was brutal. Like, Superman was like beat up, bleeding from the nose and everything. And there go my phone again. I'm just not gonna answer it right now because I'm in the middle of something. And since it's not my fiance, I don't really care. But it was one of the most brutal fights that I've like read about with him. I mean, it was awesome. They were beating each other up, and one of the best parts of it is like how it ended after Lobo just gets to kicking his ass, and then going blow for blow and bleeding and messed up and everything. Superman manages to uppercut him, and when he uppercut him, I think when he uppercut him, it was either he tossed him or he uppercut him. But either one of them, he like sent this man out of the atmosphere, like off planet. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. So I was like, that was pretty damn badass. Like I said, one of my, because he was even one part, Lobo's such an asshole. This man's like pushing, try to put, you think when you put your thumbs in somebody's eyes and you blind them, yeah, Superman, like that was straight up brutal. But like I said, it was one of the best fights that I've seen in the comics so far. But they were just trashing the city and everything. Plus, gave me a different appreciation for Lobo as well, because Lobo, I knew Lobo was strong, but I didn't know he was like that strong. So that was a pretty good fight. if anybody has not seen Batman v Superman, I like the movie. I know a lot of people complain about the movie. No, I like the movie, and a lot of it. There was so many great moments in the movie as well. Uh, but one of the best moments in the movie, of course, is the Batman versus Superman fight. Now, Batman and Superman have fought many times over like over the years, TVs, comics, movies, and I guess we'll go ahead and just jump down a few of the Batman and Superman fights. In the Batman v Superman, I thought the fight sequence was actually done really well. They did something that I liked better than really any of the other fights that I've seen. Because in this one, Batman found a way to bring the Superman. It was more of Batman outsmarting Superman and bringing his strength level back, kind of the normal, which kind of made the fight a little bit more even than in, say, The Dark Knight Returns, where Batman is fighting Superman, where Superman is holding back. But I like the fact in Batman v Superman, Superman basically poisoned Batman basically poisoned Superman with kryptonite. So that's how he was weakened, and that kind of made them. And even when it kind of wore off, he was still strong enough to take Batman, and Batman was still, what I'm saying, it was a little bit more even-handed about it. So I really appreciated that fight. It was set up really well. The way it was shot was done really well. How it ended, there was a big controversy over it. People sit there and make fun of it. I actually thought how it even ended was really done really well. Another one of the Superman Batman fights is I did watch Batman fight Superman in The Dark Knight Returns, and at this point Batman's older, so he's trying to dress up like Iron Man to try to fight Superman. I thought that was done really well as well, and even how he did surprise Superman and weaken him too. Like, I really did like that fight, and that fight actually showed that Batman still kind of had the chops, even though I think it was a little bit too forced on a little bit. But I did really appreciate that fight as well. I thought it was done well, and it was extensive too, so that made it even better to me. Another Batman versus Superman fight is damn, I don't know why I keep doing that. If anybody I like and I think it was 2003 they in the 2000s they restarted Batman, and it was called The Batman, and in that one Superman got mind control. So Batman, Supergirl, I don't know, Batgirl and Robin had to fight Superman, and Superman's control, so he's not really holding back, and I like that fight because he really wasn't holding back like that. They were going at him and Superman was just, that was one of the fights where you can tell that Superman, because you know how they have these fight, they had these big stupid conversations about who would win, Batman or Superman. It's like, no, that fight right there was like, no, Superman would win. It's just that Superman holds back, and it's like, no, in that fight, if Superman wanted to go all out, Batman would die. So I really enjoyed that one, and then it proved the whole thing that Batman could take Superman. Like, no, Superman could kill Batman. Yes, he could. There's really no way around that. They make it interesting by having Superman hold back and have Batman, on a practical, realistic level. No, Superman would kick Batman's ass every freaking time. So there is that. Now, in Justice League, there was one episode where Superman and Wonder Woman end up getting hit with something, gas or poison or something, and they both were hallucinating that the other one was like a creature or a demon or something. So those two were fighting each other, but to them they didn't know they were fighting each other. Even though Superman Superman did get out of it first. But that was a pretty badass fight, and it showed that Wonder Woman actually does have the chops to kind of stick, that she can stick with Superman. I really enjoyed that fight as well. I thought it was done really well, and I like how, even though and one thing I didn't kind of like is that when he kind of woke up out of it, he kind of restrained himself against her, so there wasn't like the full fight like it was in the beginning of it, but it was still like a pretty cool fight that I really thought was done really well. I really wish it would have been a little bit more extensive. Um, also, pretty much every damn Superman versus Doomsday fight. If you're going by Batman v Superman, one of the best, most epic Superman. And yes, it was Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman fighting all fighting Doomsday. But since he was actually in it and he was a major contributor to the fight, guess what? It's just gonna be identified as his. Just like if I do a Wonder Woman and Batman, there's gonna be theirs too. But Superman's role in the fight, I thought was fantastic. It was great seeing him just go toe to toe with another titanic, godlike creature that can kick his ass. Especially how stronger it kept getting. So I really enjoyed that fight. And you got to see a lot of what made Superman so badass. Like the flight, the way his super strength, his invulnerability. You see how awesome it is with his heat blast and stuff like that. So really enjoyed that fight. The Superman versus Doomsday in the Superman Doomsday movie, that was an extremely brutal fight that, of course, just like almost every single one that I'm going to bring up, leads to Doomsday killing Superman, which was the case in Batman v Superman. Even though they basically killed each other, and the animated movie Superman Doomsday, badass brawl, just complete citywide destruction, just going toe to toe. Absolutely awesome, great fight. Again, led to Superman's death in that one. And then I didn't see the movie, but I saw a few scenes from it. The new Death of Superman movie that came out this year, that's in that little new 52 DC cinematic universe they got. That's like freaking awesome. After Doomsday kicks everybody's ass, because this is definitively like the Doomsday. Like, he whooped everybody's ass, and you get this great, brutal, badass fight between, again, Superman and Doomsday. These two just going at it. It shows just how strong and overpowered the writers introduced Doomsday to be, because he freaking kicked ass, which unfortunately led to a very sad ending for the Man of Steel yet again. But it was still a great and engaging battle, especially just how after Doomsday was just fighting everybody else. So that was a great battle too. Now, if you haven't seen Man of Steel, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. Man of Steel is one of the movies that reinvents the franchise, that it reboots or whatever, and does it in a phenomenal way. Because one of the best aspects of this is just the action sequences. One of my favorite, there are really two big sequences in this movie that are just like the biggest sequences, and both of them are the Superman versus Fayoro and non-Smallville fight, as well as the Superman versus Zod Metropolis fight. Both of those fights are just freaking amazing. Not only is it just the damage that it's just like they just go all out. Look, I know people don't like, some people complain about Man of Steel being like overly destructive and everything, but I'm here to tell y'all this: y'all can kiss my butt. That's what happens when you got these two godlike beings fighting. And Smallville got basically destroyed because three godlike beings were fighting. What do you expect when godlike beings are fighting? There is no other movie that I can think. I'm sorry. Look, the animated movies, the television shows do not do this any justice. This movie actually shows how it is for Kryptonians to actually fight, and the level of destruction and chaos that comes in play when they do so. This is why I say, like, this is the best you'll ever see Superman fighting anyone, and I don't care who it is. Like, that Man of Steel is just like everything, like the high stakes. You can definitely see it in these fights. I really enjoyed them. Thought it was fantastic. And especially the Non and Faye Aura fight in Smallville, I really enjoyed that one, because it was cool seeing him fight, even though they're more experienced fighters. You know what I'm saying? Just see these two Kryptonians take him on. And if you're a fan of the if you're a fan of Superman 2, you get a similar fight where you have Namek. No. Nan was in Superman 2, and Man of Steel was Fayor and Namek. So it was Nan, Zod, and I forgot what the other chick's name was in Superman 3. But, not 3, 2. Like, that fight was actually pretty good too. Yes, it's dated and it's not as visually stunning and theatrical as people. Some of it was obvious, but the way it was still done was just pretty good. It was just awesome. Really appreciated that fight sequence as well. Another badass fight, which I thought was an extremely badass fight, and it was great because of how Superman has to fight, even though he had Shazam on his side, Superman has to fight an enemy that is essentially his weakness. Really good, was really well done, was great, it was awesome, a great, fantastic battle, and Black Adam kicked ass. That was like the best incarnation of that character. So I don't care what nobody says, it was great. If you haven't seen the animated series, watch it. One of my favorite fights in the animated series was when he fought Metallic. Metallo is cyborg, robot. Cyborg robot. I can't really remember what he is. It's like a robot, I guess. And the robot has kryptonite that Metallo ended up getting stuck in lava. He got stuck in lava because he fell into it. But in that episode, the Metallo versus Superman fight was great. It was brutal, and he came so close to killing Superman. And it was just a great, phenomenal battle, and one of the best ones in the animated series. So that one was a really good one as well. If you haven't seen Justice League, and I know people complain about Justice League, I don't care. Justice League is one of my favorite superhero movies, and I have a ton of reasons to tell you why. And I don't know if I don't think I reviewed the movie yet, but I need to. Quit being sorry. But anyway, and it was like a fight, but it was a great little sequence where Superman comes back from the dead, and then the Justice League are there, and things basically go to shit, and so they have to kind of try to contain him. And it was great because it showed how badass Superman was. It was great. I kind of wish it was a little bit more extended, but it was just really good, and I like how they put a bit of humor in it. It was basically Aquaman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and the Flash all fighting against an unrestrained Superman. And it was great. It was great seeing how physically he kind of was dominating him, and even him and Wonder Woman had a spat. And again, it showed that even though he was like more powerful than her, she still can kind of stick with the character, which I did like. Like I said, I wish it was a little bit more extensive. And plus, you get this one little sequence in the fight where the Flash is trying to get into, and then the Flash sees that Superman also has super speed. Maybe not as fast as the Flash, but you know what I'm saying. Like that little sequence it was hilarious, but it was really good too. And I guess I'll just drop down to one more, and I'll leave it at that. I really should have wrote these. Like I wrote them down, but I didn't write out a description or anything. I'm just going off the top of my head. But one of my all-time favorite Superman fights is the Batman Superman Apocalypse movie. And in that movie, the animated movie, Darkseid comes to Earth to kill Superman, and there's this extended fight between Superman and Supergirl against Darkseid, and that is one of the most epic fights I've ever seen with Superman. It was cool, it was great, it was brutal. Darkseid came with it, and he was just bad. And I like that showed that he was like a freaking juggernaut. Now I kind of want to say I want to add the Justice League War fight with Darkseid, where everybody, the Justice League again, were teaming up against Darkseid, and that was a pretty brutal and badass fight in itself. It was like that's how strong Darkseid is in that animated universe. It took the whole Justice League to fight him. But in this one, it was just a great battle. You got to see Superman just go ham 100%. It was just straight up awesome. But guys, in the comment section below, let me know your thoughts about the best Superman fights, whether they're in the movies, whether you agree with the ones that I've picked, whether if you even read some in the comics. Throw them down there in the description, in the comment section below. And also be sure to stay tuned on this channel for Thursdays and Sundays. Videos will be uploaded, and be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button so that you guys can get these videos as soon as I upload them, and we can all just have a good time and keep up with what we got going on this channel. And we'll definitely catch you guys later. Till the next video, Narik Chase signing out.